Fuck that. Fuck that up. Welcome to the Trash Cats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we're finally solving the spy balloon and trail derailment problems.
Oh, boy.
Do you want to just go with it?
Yeah. Dude, remember when everybody was drinking bleach?
Yes.
Injecting bleach, drinking bleach. I want to go back to that time. I feel like that was a slightly more fun than the
It was a simpler time.
Dude, I wonder how many kids... Do we know how many kids drank or injected bleach?
I don't know.
Have you ever done that?
No.
You've never taken a little sip?
Not even a little sip.
How do you get your guts clean?
I use Fabuloso, which I have an issue because they just recalled it. There's bacteria there's potential for bacteria in the batch, so I have to find a new way. I'm thinking Pine Sol, because that's the smell of clean, and you get a good gulp of that in there, and then your burps taste like Fabuloso for the next couple days.
You're telling me you really never have been tempted to drink a little bleach?
I mean, tempted,
sippy?
Absolutely, but I've never given in to my inner desires.
Aren't you curious what it tastes like?
I mean, I can't imagine it tastes too much different than how it smells.
It's very sweet.
It's like good gasoline.
It's the nectar. Oh my God, gasoline's... I like gasoline a little bit more. Just a little bit.
How do you know which one's Supreme? Well, the Supreme tastes like shit, and regular just kind of tastes pretty good.
It's like sugared almonds, but a syrup. Mm-hmm. Really get you going.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Put a little bit in your car, a little bit in your mouth.
Did you ever see that episode of My Strange Addiction? The woman that was addicted to sniffing gas.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little fuzzy on it, but I'm pretty sure her family had an intervention and they were like, it's either us or the gas. And she was like, I'm going to keep sniffing gas.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah. That's
that's so rough. What a poor person drug.
That's the one is she was didn't even get a high, didn't huff it to get high on it. She just to sniff it, and she had a cup in it in her car all the time, and
you're just killing so many brain cells.
Yeah, they were she's in the hospital multiple times, and we can't keep coming to your rescue if you're going to keep doing this. And she was like, I'm going to keep doing it though.
It's like kidney or liver failure, I'm guessing.
Brain function shit. Yeah.
I mean, a little huff every now and again is pretty nice, but I don't want to...
Yeah, just a little take the edge off,
Speaking of brain damage, so first off, I don't think we're ever going to solve the UFO nonsense.
No, you don't think you and I could sit down and with a pad, pencil, and get a little cork board together and...
Okay, other thing, there's apparently an industrial chemical spill, including train derailments, every other day in the U.S.
Yeah, we looked at the ratio on that.
It's a lot of crashed trains.
That's a lot of why are we still using trains?
The real question is, why do we have conductors?
Oh, yeah.
What are they up to? They just asleep on the switch? These stupid fucks.
What the fuck are they even doing?
But really, speaking of brain damage, did you hear about the Mexican elf?
I did not. No. What a fucking wild sentence.
Oh boy, this is a good one. So, the Mexican president shared this. I don't know if it was Twitter, but he posted proof.
Oh, God.
Of the mysterious Mayan elf. And he's got photo evidence. Check these photos.
Shit.
Among some Maya people, there is a folklore about the Alux, a miniature mystical sprite who lives in a forest, caves, and fields. Now Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has posted a photo to his social media that is... that any reasonable person can only recognize as indisputable proof that the elf is anything but a myth.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. It's a little elf in a tree.
It's a shadow.
It's a monkey with a hat.
It's a picture of a tree for sure.
Or a squirrel. It's just a Mexican squirrel. It could. I think it's a cat.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a crafty cat with a plastic bag on its head.
Yeah. I can see where it's like, it looks like there's an arm. I can see what it looks like, but also like, you can't say that photos, by an engineer on a construction site. Okay, so he didn't take this picture. Someone else took this picture and they sent it to him, and he was like, "This is for real, dog." It's a grainy ass, blurry fucking photo. I don't know. It's like all the pictures of like, oh, I saw a ghost, and it's
Dude,
it's just the most blurry ass, like obviously photoshopped shit you've ever seen in your life.
Dude, no wonder Mexico is a wreck. Their presidents are believing in elves.
He's out here playing Zach Baggins out here, just fucking.
He's hunting for Bigfoot on the weekends.
Some people want to choose to tackle these new age problems and issues, but really, we need to figure out this fucking Bigfoot thing. It's been going on for too goddamn long.
Hey,
it's about time someone stood up and spoke out about it.
Dude, I hate Bigfoot so much. Dude, what a stupid myth.
You don't like cryptids in general.
Oh, they're so stupid.
Oh, but they're fun, Steven.
They're not even fun. You know how dumb Bigfoot looks lumbering around? Like, use your spine. Stand tall, brother. I don't trust slouchers.
But you bet he'd be rad to chill with.
I don't think so.
Like in the beef jerky commercials.
I think he is just a stoner who's going to eat all my food. I don't trust him.
Yeah, that's most of the people we knew growing up.
Yeah, but we're adults now. I don't like hungry stoners.
I don't like people that need to be fed.
Yeah, I got
bullshit.
Don't touch me when I eat. That's the rule. Now, you know what I do like most about this Mexican elf?
What?
I like the red eyes. They're not quite red, but it's got the red eye effect.
It's got just a little enough tint to it that you're like, oh, maybe it's not just that green reflection glow. It's got the
demonic a little bit. Do you know? I feel like you know, but you know what red eye in photos is from?
It's like the light bouncing off the back of your eyeball, right?
Yeah, it's so cool. The light reflecting off your retinas, like your eyes, just like a window to your brain. It's so cool.
Yeah. Well, we saw straight into this Mayan elf's brain, and I'm glad that he took to social media to share it with the rest of the world. And
now here's a question: when's the last time you touched your eye? Really got in there?
Probably not too long ago.
What'd you find?
I'm sure cat hairs. That happens on a pretty regular basis around here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like big into touching my eyes. I know that. I wanted colored contacts when I was younger because I thought that would be a cool look. And
because you wanted to be rad as fuck.
I want to be cool as hell. Yeah. And I don't like touching my eyes. Just don't like doing it.
A lot of people don't. I think it's like a common like phobia a bit. But there's something like, as a kid, I was always afraid to. And then, did you do the thing where you rub your eyes and like look at the colors?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my, dude, I would do that forever. And I was always nervous to touch my eye itself. And then like one day, I got the confidence. And I was just wiggling all up in there. I was no longer afraid. You know how freeing it is just to touch your eyeball and be like, yeah, look at these colors.
Check out all this shit.
It's way better. That's the next level.
No, I don't do that anymore because what those colors and all that means to me now is I'm about to have a migraine. So that's taken on a different light to me, and I don't follow those
urges. Did you know pink eye is a myth?
Pink eye is a myth?
Myth. Yeah, it's not real.
I mean, I've had it before. I've known people who've had it.
They're liars. Dude, never once have had it.
So obviously it's not real.
You know how much poop gets in these eyes? There's no way it's... So So anytime I see somebody with pink eye, I'm like, holy shit, what have they been up to?
It happens to the best of us.
Oh man. I feel like it's
Wash
like
their fucking hands.
Like, have you ever got a skin infection?
I'm sure it's more than just poop that can cause pink eye.
That's what we all blame it on. And I think just pink eye gets a bad rap. That's all I'm saying.
I think it makes sense that it's a bacteria that's commonly found in poop.
Sure.
If we're talking here like we got our doctor hats on like today, we're
feeling brainy, you know.
Talking like we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Like if you ever like injected drugs into your arm, but you cleaned the needles and you wiped down your skin and you still got an infection.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, sometimes
it happens all the time, bud.
It's crazy how much potentially deadly shit is just like chilling on your skin all the time.
Yeah, man, we come in contact with all kinds of gross shit on a regular basis.
How would you phrase it? How many living organisms are inside of us? Would it
inside
be
of us or on our skin?
Either way, I want to know.
Because I want to say inside of us, like I'm not the different types. I don't know, but I want to say like living organisms inside of us. I thought that was like an astronomical number.
Yeah,
it's like grains of sand on a beach kind of number.
Holy shit!
What'd you find, Dr. Professor Sherlock Steven?
I gotta get a better read. This is giving me microbes. Are microbes considered living?
Yeah.
So the skin forms an important barrier against microbes from the outside world. In total, you have about 1.8. Oh, fuck.
I don't think they are living by. It's like all rectangles and squares and shit. It's like they can be. They don't have to be. I don't know that for sure either. I'm not. Biology is not my shit.
Tens of millions of microbes live on each square centimeter of skin.
Each square centimeter. Ooh.
So there's
a lot of homies hanging out.
Yeah, I heard. I would assume this is true, but if you pick up a handful of soil, there's more living organisms than known species. Like in one handful of soil, there's more things alive in that than species we know to exist.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
It's so creepy, like all the deadly shit on her skin. It's kind of amazing, like a couple layers of skin protect us from that much shit.
Yeah, then like how long after I showered does that take to do they take to come back?
I'd imagine they're most
get in there with
survive the shower.
I get in there with the lava soap and the fucking the hot ass blistering shower. Yeah. Or the cold showering, that might.
Dude, cold showers are for perverts. Who would do that?
It's it's nice every now and then.
Yeah, they say
that. Especially in the summertime. There's nothing like coming home from a long day of fucking manual labor and you get in a cold fucking shower.
The only time I ever do that is if I am suicidal. Like I hated my day and I'm so sunburnt and sick of life that I get into a cold shower and ponder it all.
It's fantastic. Just let it like run down the back of your neck and hit your nervous system and just cool you down.
Ugh.
It's the way.
Perverted. So, should we address the big fat elephant in the room?
Yeah, I have a kidney stone.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Like right now?
Yeah, I pissed blood earlier.
Oh, damn, that's a different elephant than I was thinking of. But
yeah, no, I figured I'd let's bring that up on you. It's been, it's not like I can feel that it's coming around on the left side and in the back. It's not like prominent yet, but it's there.
How much blood? I've only pissed blood like once or twice in my life.
It's like, it wasn't like, it's not that you see it coming out, but it's like you see in the toilet, like it separates and like.
Okay, so we're talking. It's not a gross hematura.
No, it's not like I have
microcytic
blood piss. It's just it's more that a dark cloudy piss that sinks to the bottom and separates.
I know a bunch of medical words I can't pronounce. So funny, dude. Dude, that's brutal though. That sounds just so fucking shitty.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's the first one I've had in a very long time, and I hadn't even been thinking of them until last night when I was talking with a friend, and they asked me, how your kidney stones been? And I was like, oh, they've been great. And I even did the knock on wood, and that didn't help. So
there's just nothing you can do. You just wait it out, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it, I don't know the science. My diet's been good, been more regular. I think, the fact that I've been more active lately and like been drinking more water lately. And I don't know, like that's been helping to move it out. Cause I know movement for sure. Like when you are more physically active, you're helping it to move through. So I don't know if that's the case or what. I don't know.
Got to keep them stones jiggling, I guess.
Yeah, quit eating all them rocks. Won't have this problem.
So,
what elephant were you talking about?
Yeah, I was going to say the other elephant. I feel like we had a really good conversation last week, and I had been thinking about it all week. And it's just the problem of trying to have big conversations. The trouble with big conversations. There's this thing where you can, it's hard to have meaningful conversations organically sometimes. And we are trying to figure out ways to like maximize for that. And more and more, I feel like part of it really is the friction or pushback. But it's a hard thing to bottle, that essence,
Especially when we generally agree on most things.
We even like you have friends over, or like a friend, and then like there's definitely times you want to just hang out, play video games, or like fuck off, right? And not talk about anything serious. But then there's other times you like have the opportunity to speak about something meaningful, and instead it's just like a nice time, and then you leave and you're like, what the fuck were we doing with our time? Like, why the fuck? What was the point of even hanging out? Like, that feeling of like regret of like not having opened up type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then like other times you could be ready to have those type of interactions or conversations. And, you figure you have like a limited number of hours with the person for your entire life. You have this unknown amount of hours with the person, and you could have been talking about something more meaningful between you, and it just like doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's like a strange thing like that to be like, hey, we should talk about this today because it's, we're all dead soon and it's important, is like a weird thing.
Yeah. I think there's a comfort that oftentimes you don't want to break, because I think there's an inevitability with a lot of deeper conversations, at least the ones that I'm used to, where it starts to get existential and depressing. And I think there's at least for a decent amount of those interactions where even if you're thinking about it, you're thinking like, well, do we get into this? Like, because we don't have a lot of thinking, like when I go to visit family or something, it's like, sometimes you just keep it surface level and like, how you doing? And how's this been? And like, you talk through that shit, but like to get into the deeper nitty gritty of the world is like, it's a lot. It's not so much that's the conversation I want to have be the last one I had with them kind of thing, or, stuff like that. I do agree though. I think more than ever, I'd rather have those deeper conversations with people. I don't like the surface level talk.
Yeah. I want
like the regular back and forth of, how's your week been, Ted? Every fucking day. It's like,
kill me now.
It's like, that's an introduction. Like, we still say that, but that's an introduction to like, tell me what's going on in your life so that we can talk about it. Or I'll tell you about like the weird shit that I've been going on with in my head, and like, let's fucking unpack shit. I think I don't know. That's a better way to get to know people too, to like really bond with people, create bonds with people.
it's a vulnerable thing, but I want to talk and fight about everything.
Yeah, you do.
Like I want those interactions more. I'm happy to fight for things I don't believe in too. Like I think that's really fun. Or there's something exhilarating of like trying to understand something well enough to convince someone of something else.
Mm-hmm.
Real manipulation, but playful manipulation too. It's fun as fuck. Like I want to affect people's thoughts. And like defend my own, you know?
Yeah. The convincing people thing is hard too, especially with some of the, more, I guess some of the bigger issues that like would spawn debate, would spawn more feelings like that. I feel like people, at least in my life, tend to like, they are stuck in their way. They have planted their flag in the ground and they're going to die on that hill.
I feel that way, but in the moment, I feel so stubborn and ruthless. I would like never stop until something else is going to separate us, or they're sick of it, of engaging. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like I could just like berate someone forever. Like I want to shame people into changing their thoughts. I don't know. I feel like you can shame people into things, and that's good.
That's said right-wing enthusiast Steven.
No, like think of like didn't you get any big like vaccine debates or whatever? Like, no, you're a piece of shit. You killed your family. Like, I want to rub their dead family in their face. So they do better.
I feel like I said that because I feel like that is the point that the like extremists on the right, like that's kind of their thing, is like they are so like sold on their thing, and like shame on you for not believing in it also.
Oh, I disagree.
I feel like that's like maybe not like obviously not the hosts of the shows, because they're coming out being busted for fucking not being on board too, but
Dylan and grooming.
Yeah, they're fucking, the common folk amongst us that's being fair. Fucking brainwashed by it, and they feel like, oh, this is really happening. This is the news, and no one else is covering it because it's a conspiracy. So why would they? Like,
these are very abstract. I would say the roles have switched in a lot of ways, where I feel like now it's people on the left that really shame people away that don't 100% think the way they do. But like the left is like and I definitely fall more left than right, but the left is very like, you got to check all the bullet points now,
Mm-hmm.
Just shitty.
Yeah. I think there's a certain amount of that where, I don't know, certain bullet points should be checked. I think that's one of those where if you're willing to, it's like the point I usually go to is when people are like, Trump supporters are like, I'm not racist or whatever, and you're like, okay, well, you're okay with the racism that's rampant in the party, and they're like, well, it's like when you're complicit to it or you're not doing something against it kind of thing. But it also goes to the charity thing we talked about before, where it's like you can't if you donate to one charity, then you got people that are like, oh, why didn't you donate to this one, or why not this one? And it's like, you can't solve it all. You can't do it all.
The effective altruism.
We're fucking just, big, skinny, or big, not so hairy rats living on this fucking planet.
Now, here's a tricky question. What to do with nonviolent nonviolent racists. Because that's a really tricky thing, because as intolerant as I often am myself, I feel like it's one of those things, like, have you ever, like, been friends with a racist in real life? Like, I know we've been around.
Yeah, when I was younger, I think that was more a thing. But, it's also like these were like confused kids kind of thing.
Sure.
In my adult life, no. Like I've been lucky enough to stay away from that. Like even the encounters I had in Florida with those people that were like come out as being racist. It's like, cool, dude. Like I'm not going to come around anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I just won't hang out with that person anymore.
I know we've talked privately about it. I've like purposely not said some things on here, but yeah, I was like pretty into certain groups at the time that were very shitty people, and there were like adults around me that were very proud of their hate type stuff, and in retrospect, I'm glad I made the mistakes I did, because I really hated people, like pretty much all people, but I hated certain people for a while because I kept getting jumped. Like I was like a dumbass white kid walking around getting jumped all the time, and I didn't feel super white because I was like, I'm a quarter Middle Eastern, which doesn't make you not white, but as a kid, it's like one more kind of confusing thing in Cincinnati, it's like, yeah. But I kept getting jumped, so I pretty much hated everyone. And then I had a bunch of like racist people around me. And then like later on, I had some really cool black friends that helped me see things differently. And then the more I got into drugs and stuff, the more different types of people I was around. And I feel like I have a slightly unique perspective because I understand people that have hateful thoughts really well. Mm-hmm. And there's like this interesting problem of like, you can't really, it's like one group of people, you really can't shame them out of hate, like you can't in one interaction, you can't shame or,
yeah, they're not going to change their mind.
It's especially long process.
Yeah, that's exactly.
What's that? Daryl
learning process.
What's his name? Daryl, the cool guy that the black dude that befriends KKK members till they leave.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he collects their hoods. He's like he's a musician. His name's Daryl something. I know Rogan's featuring him, but really cool fucking dude. But he befriends different hate group people for like years, sometimes like decades, to convince them to, like, through friendship, change their ways. I always found that like so fascinating to have that level of patience and tolerance. To be one person that takes that on, it's like truly that's the way to do it, is because a lot of the racism I've experienced in people that I've seen in people comes from just the complete, it's ignorance, in that it's a lack of experience with, people of different cultures, different ethnicities, whatever they're, being a bigot towards. It's just a lack of experience. If they had someone in their life that they had positive experiences with, they would be different. Like they would see things differently. So it's absolutely, the echo chamber issue and all that other shit of just like exposure. Everything's exposure. Like you can't imagine things you haven't gone through. It's like you need diversity of experience of any kind.
Yeah.
Like the more mistakes you make, the better. The more situations and people you're in, the better. It's
right.
So strange like that. You can feel like you know so many things until you go through something, and then it's like I used to feel so much more like arrogant or confident about who I was or what I believed, and there's part of like my core that I will always like maintain a certain like wall or level of, I don't know, confidence in belief in certain things, but everything else pretty much I'm much more gray on, like accepting I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you get humbled too many times, and
yeah. There's definitely there's a weird line there. I remember you would know this. You were the only person that I talked to about this in particular. But there was a time in my life a few years ago where I it was some fucking Instagram post or something like I'll never fucking. You asked me how I was doing, and I was like I'm all right. Shit's kind of sideways right now, but I'll never not trust myself again.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
And that was like a big moment where, like, obviously you want to be able to have that in yourself, but still being able to be flexible enough to like empathetic enough to see things from different sides and just understanding someone else's point of view is so beneficial to any interaction. It can really help, like any altercation, like where people start to get like heated over stuff, like, whoa, like that's when you talk stuff out with people, like that's when you figure out like there's a misunderstanding, there was a this, there was a that. So like if you can put yourself in those shoes, you can.
Yeah, like if I get invited to someone's house for dinner and let's say we got 3 households. One, they say prayers before dinner. The other one, they got their MAGA hats hanging on the on their, what do you call the thing you put your coat hanger?
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
They got their MAGA hats, American flags everywhere. And the third household, they have a framed poster of Hitler himself swatted out. It's like all 3 of these places I do not want to be.
Right.
My ideal situation would be to leave these houses and burn them down on my way out. But right. The best or like most ideal way to handle it is to be able to sit through the meal and establish some rapport and try to slightly plant some seeds, like make someone question something. You're not going to change anything then, and you don't want to like become too close either. But you don't the people that are like just purely like scold or shame or whatever, like they're missing opportunities to affect people too.
Yeah, plant seeds of understanding,
seeds of doubt. Right, you're cracking them.
I think that there's at least I hope that the general human experience is partially driven by the curiosity to know, the want to know things. And there's definitely walls and barriers up around that with like, especially in things like religion and shit like that, where it's like, we already know. We're not going to question it more. To question it's wrong.
Everything should be questioned always.
Yeah. But I feel like when you start giving people, like you said, planting the seeds of doubt, planting things in people where they're like, oh, that's, I wasn't expecting this I wasn't expecting this kind of, interaction with someone who's, talks about Hail Satan and shit like that. Like that's I don't know. I feel like that's going to, like you said, create a much bigger long-term point. And that's the other one is like to do it by yourself. Like my dude's, that's crazy. That's awesome that he does it, but it's crazy. It takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of interactions to really make that move. And that's,
You know who's the easy ones to pick off and break?
Who?
The Christians. They're so pathetic.
I thought you were going to say like the Amish. You tell them they
no,
can, like,
the Amish
dance
are dug
and drink
in.
and
they're in the trenches, brother. They're all in. No, I feel like and Any WWJD type peeps. I feel like the easiest angle attack is always the disparity in their beliefs typically between religion and politics. Because how can you have give me your poor and feed them and clothe them and give away all your possessions to get the fuck out of my country, don't be here. There's such a discrepancy.
Yeah.
And hypocrisy.
Yeah, man, people are fucking wild. Just as a creature.
Yeah.
I think it's really, it's one of the things that definitely pulls me into a darker place in my head of when I start to think of the fuck are we all doing here kind of thing, and countries fighting for land right now and shit like that. And it's what do you really gain? What's the plan? What's your, I don't know, what's the aim that you're going for with this in this century? What's the, I don't know.
Let's devil's advocate. We got nothing else going on. Let's imagine you're a really fucked country, right? Mm-hmm. You have some, an Eastern European country, you got a nationalist streak, you got your, racial pride, whatever, but all your technology is 20 years out of date. You have a dwindling birth rate. You've lost territory to bigger countries. You have no nuclear weapons and no way to truly defend yourself from a more powerful nation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's good or the best way to go about things. And I say this as someone who won our last game of Risk with only my silver tongue, if I may add. But for those who are desperate to survive or to remain free, it often can seem a lot easier to pick off your weaker neighbors to amass strength to survive than to give in to negotiations and become increasingly more impotent.
I mean, if your, smaller neighbors had the full resources to take care of your country that you could
but they
receive
don't.
From that. Exactly. They don't.
But that's what I mean, that in the sense of none of these countries, this is an imaginary country, but I feel like the setting is many of these countries on their own can't take care of themselves, and neither can their neighbors. And instead of
right, so what I'm agreeing with you, and I'm saying the best move wouldn't be infighting. The best move would be, collaborate, work with each other. That's the move.
Yeah, and but you have these dividing lines of race, religion.
Yeah, and that's exactly, that's where we get fucked up. And it's why?
Why much goes back to race and religion. It's the two biggest things.
It really is, and it's so fucking stupid because it's so arbitrary.
Yeah, it's like being born, as a wild animal. It's like being born, but you're branded by your parents. And for the rest of your life, you're going to rep that gang set no matter what. It's so stupid.
It's when you're born, it's just you're put into a box and this is all you can be. And it's that you can't work outside of those lines because some fucking old fuck doesn't like it when you doesn't want to work with these people that they fought in a war with 100 years ago. Go fuck yourself.
I just saw some Hitchens quote that was isn't it fortunate that your local God is always the true one?
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's why, Jesus wasn't, the local God, but he loves America the most. And we all know this to be true.
Now, here's where I think it gets tricky. Let's say, I'll pretend to be Jewish. Let's say I'm Jewish and my parents are killed by Nazis. Mm-hmm. When it gets super real like that, I, as much as I could logically think, befriend your neighbors, build past the hate, whatever. there's no way I'm ever going to forgive that. There's no way I'm ever going to want to make peace with that. There's no way I'm ever, like, maybe late in life you get past that kind of anger. Like, and some people are exceptions to that, but most people, you know, you're in the Middle East and your entire fucking community gets droned out of existence. They're pretty hard to just, you know, forgive the nation of rich people that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, like,
yeah.
It's almost like impractical to expect people to get over those types of wrongs.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely in the mindset that the especially the modern shit that we've done is atrocious, and like it doesn't create structure in any way by doing that. Like the example I would look at would be, well, in your first example you gave, like with the Nazi Germany thing, like that's obviously like, yeah, that's something atrocious. It's terrible. You don't forgive for that. You remember and you hold on to that, but you can move forward and you can look at, like, I don't know, I guess the modern equivalent would be like, it's not all Germans are Nazis, but you know, there's a saying in Germany that, like, if there's 9 people sitting at a table with one Nazi, that you have a table with 10 Nazis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not everybody there. You can move forward through that. And it's a trust thing. It's it's a vulnerability state that you're putting yourself in. And that sucks and it's hard.
Well, here's a interesting hypothetical. So I hate the U.S. for many reasons, but among the biggest reasons is our violence to other nations. But if I was in a different life, a different position, and let's say I was in charge of our national security, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you do when you have millions of people that their whole life they read one book that tells them to kill the infidels, to reincite slavery, to mutilate women, to kill themselves, to go to the sky with virgins, like crucifying people, real fucking monstrous shit, and millions of people, like, what is it? It's the top 3, right? Biggest religions in the world. Like, it's not all of that religion. You could fucking fall into that forever. But millions and millions of people believe this, and we're trying to engage with it peacefully. I would say failing to do so peacefully. But the idea of, like, engaging with this is just thoughts, right?
Yeah. I don't think we should say, like, there's no way I'm going to come up with, I'm going to have an answer for you on the spot. Like, this is a thing that, like, we, you know, sit down for a while and discuss and think about, but it's well, like, yeah, but the short answer is I don't have an answer. I don't have a solution.
I would preface with both of us pretty much largely are against this bombing the Middle East.
Yes.
But I'm saying, like, hypothetically, when you have an ideological enemy to that extent, where reasoning is going to be just about impossible because it's something they believe for thousands of years, and they are willing to die for it for good reason. And I respect that level of not the faith, but like the tenacity or whatever, the relentlessness of being willing to die for their beliefs. Like, I feel like I understand and respect that, but the belief system itself is fucked.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? That's like, it is a pretty impossible situation. As like an average person, it's easy to be like, oh, our fucking military country's evil, and that's how I feel, 95% of the time. But if you had to be the person to try to protect from a large amount of people that are willing to crucify you and suicide bomb you, that's a pretty fucking hard situation too.
Yeah. And part of the issue too with some of that is like, I think one of the easier answers I think that a lot of people would think is like, well, you cut them off kind of thing. Like no one does trades with them. No one.
They're all starving.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, they you have people, you still have like families. You still have like people that live here that like need help and like that can't get out because this is their government structure and shit. Like this is, part of their, the local police policies and shit. Like they can't.
They just lynched that dude for blasphemy in a police headquarters.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were saying like they're trying to find ways to change blasphemy laws, and there's so much pushback because it's something like every week someone is publicly executed for having alleged saying God's name in vain.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something you don't even have to prove. If you get the, people around you in like believing it, they could just get killed in the street type of shit. Like that's pretty fucked.
Yeah, that's really fucked.
It's more
in the name of the Lord,
right? And I think even my point greater than it's being fucked. It's a hard thing to change.
Yeah,
like when something's been away for so long, and we give people legitimate reasons to hate us even more. Like, how the fuck do you stop that from happening?
Yeah.
But it's always religion or race.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucked up shit, man.
I don't think the aliens will help.
It's fucking time. Time is gonna help, but I think time will help faster with the race stuff. At least in America, I feel like we're definitely moving in a world, we're moving in a better direction for sure.
Religion is difficult though. It sticks.
It's like I think that's one of the biggest problems is when you have it tied up with your government. It's like where the rules of the religion are law. That's
tyranny.
Yeah, exactly. It's really fucked. It makes it so much harder because you can't just be a non-believer. You can't just, you can't protest it. You can't call out about it. Like yeah.
I wonder what an alien religion would be like.
That's Scientology.
Man, they're wild.
Yeah, that's a goof troop, man.
It's going to be interesting when David Miscavige dies because I think there will be radical changes and they're going to be... It's like the problem with, we were talking about with the new Pope, where the more like tolerant they become, the more acceptable they also become. And I think Scientology is going to make it a while because they're becoming increasingly more tame. And I think especially with when Miscavige is out of power, it's going to be really wild.
Think they'll pay and get a Super Bowl ad?
That doesn't even sound far-fetched, truly.
It really doesn't. So I saw people like tripping on that Christianity had 2 different ads for Jesus.
Did
the
they?
Super Bowl ad. Yeah, they had 2.
Missed it.
What was it, like a 15 second or 30 second slot was like $70 million or something ridiculous. It was like an insane amount of money, and they had 2. And
imagine not helping people with that money.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're
a Super Bowl commercial,
and they're openly like, "Yeah, man, numbers are down. We don't have many people coming to churches." And the campaign they're running right now, you've probably seen them before. It's the "He Gets Us" campaign.
I haven't seen that.
So that's like it starts off like. It's like, oh, imagine a revolutionary who, they talk about like he was just trying to do the best for his community and he was persecuted for it. It's like they trying to make it seem like they're talking about a modern person.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then they're like,
oh, he died for his sins too.
I think the first one I saw didn't even say Jesus in it. It was just bastard. Like, yeah, exactly. It was some shit like that. And it was like, oh, it's good in the way that, like, it's definitely going to get some people that are
There's nothing better than a creative Christian. Right? they can trick themselves into believing all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah.
They're the funny ones.
Oh man, I thought it was funny mostly because like when I first saw it, it wasn't the Super Bowl ads. It was just like before that. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then people are tripping because there's they paid for these 2 huge slots and like they're like, oh yeah, man, we gotta buff the numbers. We just, we need more people in the seats. We just gotta, it's like, fuck man, like make it more obvious that you're running a business. It's super fucked. I don't know. I thought it was, I think it's funny in the way that like they have to
promote.
Yeah. Like I realized before that, like I'd seen, you see the billboard ads, you see the, all the merch, the Jesus merch, on people's cars and shit. But like, I don't know. I think
Jesus
that might
tattoos are pretty big.
That might be the first, Jesus TV commercial I think I've ever seen.
I don't think I've seen one. I was actually listening to a couple sermons, threw in a homily or two at the end of my workday. I was trying to find a good pastor for us to review.
Oh, good. Cool. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, so many funny ones out there.
Some good. I've been fucking poisoning myself. I've been reading comments on stuff on Instagram and YouTube because my curiosity gets to the better of me. I'm like, it started out as like, how many comments, someone pointed out this game, how many comments on like, not even like a weird post, like a post of like a puppy dog or something, like playing fetch or something, just a really innocuous post. How many comments down can you get before someone is pissed about something? And it's fun. Like, you count like, 3, 4, there it is. And then,
or sexually aroused.
Yeah. It's just wild shit. And it's like, okay. So then I started doing it with other ones where I was like, I'm sure the comment section's going to be fucking bonkers. And sure enough, like sometimes you get in there and like it passes the vibe check. It's cool. Everyone's seeming to be fine. But most of the time, it's like within the first or second comment on it, it's fucking nuts. Yeah. Just the wild shit that people will come up with and say. And a lot of them are like a couple of them I've seen in particular have been like evangelists that are like, saying whoever's daughter that is needs to, do something that honors thy father or like, it's always some fucking bullshit, some hot bullshit.
Man, that's funny.
Like you're all sinners and you're going to burn in hell kind of shit. It's like, I don't remember the exact phrasing on it, but it was along those lines. And it was something about a fucking drag race one or something. Drag race short.
Man. I always just wish I could like get a peep inside those people's houses. It's gonna be such a sad situation going on.
You're inside of their mental scape a little bit, like just surface level, like what's bubbling. What's the real thing that's making you tick?
The type of people that make me wish karma was real.
How many more camels before how many more straws before it breaks the camel's back?
How many more camels can get on the straw? How many camels can touch the straw?
How many camels is this person going to smoke once they realize God's not real?
Dude, I would absolutely love to smoke hookah on a camel. You set it up on one hump.
Oh,
you duct tape it down,
Duct tape.
You lounge on the other. You put an umbrella on the other hump. You're good to go.
Of all the cool ways you could probably make that work and like set up a nice
a golden saddle.
Yeah,
table?
like a nice table set up and all. You duct tape it.
Duct tape the hookah.
And it's not even like a nice one. It's like from the fucking corner store that sells
the smoke
hookahs.
shop. Absolutely.
Not even a smoke shop. Just like the fucking gas station that also sells hookah.
Oh, the ones where the tubes are plastic and melt toxic fumes into your nice hookah. Yeah.
Yeah. The fucking metal dish isn't actually metal. It's like it's like a weird resin.
Every once in a while you see drip and smells funny.
Yeah.
Makes the buzz stronger though.
Yeah, man, that's how you get that little buzz on the hookah.
Little hookah buzz.
I used to do
the
that when I
lung
was
sore
younger.
for a week buzz. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to smoke hookah when I was younger, and I got sick on it, and it's never tasted right to me since.
So you pack a lip with a couple dip skis, hit the hookah bar, smoke a couple pineapples, and
I'd be down to hit
dizzy.
one if I had like some friends to go to with one. I've only ever been to one like actual hookah bar before. We had to have been underage because it was in Cincinnati.
The Clifton ones didn't card ever.
Oh, okay, that's what it was then.
Yeah, ever. And neither did bars in Northside. It was a shit. It was crazy. I stopped going to bars by the time I was legal drinking age. Like kids now, they at least have to get fake IDs. Like no one gave a fuck at all when we were kids.
Yeah, I had one. I just realized that the other day too. Of like, I had one bar that I would go to because I had friends there in Florida, and like I would go there. The one I started going to up here was a place I used to work at, and they just wouldn't charge me. So I would just I would go in with my tips from the week and like just give the bartender my tips, and they just take care of me. And after that, I just have not. I don't have any desire to go to a bar.
Dude, bars are actually disgusting.
Yeah,
they're actually so stupid and gross.
I went to one yesterday with because I was meeting up with my friend and just catching up on and shit, and it was just a in between meeting ground, and it made me realize like I don't the whole fucking like finding a place to park, fucking walking in, the whole experience sucked from start to the end there.
You know who hangs out at bars? Alcoholics.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
knew you were going to say that.
I'd rather lay in a bathtub full of used needles than go to a bar. You know what I hate the most? You never know how much anything costs. That's all. I don't want to be anxiously looking at a menu of drinks that aren't there, they don't have,
Yeah.
and then they give you some
sorry,
bullshit.
we're all out of that one.
Yeah, and then you're expected to tip some loser for pouring liquid into a glass. I fucking hate all of it.
It's a bad time every time.
I know you're going to defend your...
Of course, I always defend the service industry. I always tip.
My career's pouring alcohol.
But even that though, I definitely get like when you go to a bar where you're just getting a beer poured, like $1 a beer, I think is fine.
It's beyond generous. Has anybody ever given me $1 for pouring them a drink?
Well, that's the thing is like most people aren't tipping $1 a beer. So like if you're going in trying to like be a decent, a customer and you want to have a good reputation with this bartender, you at least $1 a beer. If you're getting craft cocktails and shit, like then it adds up.
You're overcharged so much anyway. As a junkie, I just never understand I feel like I'm getting fucked over for paying a crazy price to be in a room and drink when I could get it for half the price and go home.
Well, that's the thing is that's why some people would prefer to go out and drink.
I never understood that. Which is
it's like, you absolutely, that's been the argument that's, for sure. Like you can make your own steak dinner at home and all that shit for, less than half the price you pay at a restaurant. The
establishment should be paying the people better, and there's no reason to tip them pouring a drink. Of course I'm going to tip them because that's the world we live in and they're underpaid. Definitely going to tip. I'm not an asshole. But the whole thing is so fucking stupid.
Now, the counter argument I would propose to that is in some situations, even if the business were to pay people more, what I can make working the fucking smoothie bar, slanging smoothies on a weekend, I can make more than my hourly rate in tips if, like on a good day. So like they're like, I'm more than doubling my hourly rate by tips. They're not going to more than double your rate of pay and then say, okay, but no tips now.
I guess I fully understand with any service thing where they're making things. It just bothers me the like literally pouring a shot or opening a beer. That just drives me crazy.
I get you on that.
I just feel like I'm getting fucked. And you never know how much it costs. They tell you a number that isn't even on the fucking sign. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I feel like I'm literally being mugged anytime I've gone to a bar.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
That's terrible.
I definitely, I feel like, no, I think you're right in the way that if it's non-labor intensive, it's whatever, like, like you said, you're pouring a drink into a fucking cup.
I have to pay you $1 for that. That just
that's the thing is, you don't have to. Absolutely don't have to.
But then they treat you like shit.
No, I mean, like, some might. But
most.
You will, one way to guarantee you will have their attention next time that you order something or you want something, give them $1. Just on your first drink, you give them $1 with it. And then even maybe, it depends on how long you plan on being there. If you're planning on, going out and drinking a bunch of beers, that they're drinking a bunch of drinks at that bar.
You know how lame it feels to give another dude $1 for a drink, though? I feel like I'm treating them like a stripper. Like, it's just such a weird situation. And I just don't like it.
Why doesn't that help you make it feel better? It's like, it's like dirty now. It's like dirty money.
That's a very funny thought, actually. All right. Last topic. Here's what I've been struggling with since our last conversation. I feel like I can be very very morally opinionated. I feel like I know right and wrong. I can like throw out like hard rules. I can like kind of bullshit for a podcast and know what is good, what is not good, whatever. Lately though, in my real life, my non-comic book life, my non-comic book character, I just don't really. I'm feeling so gray on like right and wrong stuff. Like I feel like I know, like my hardline opinion is still always there, but I just don't really give a fuck. I know I'm like going through like maybe a depressive wave or whatever, but it's been like a trend philosophically where like
the apathy is strong.
Yeah, but it's not. I feel like, I know my like depression and apathy, whatever, is part of it, but I also think part of it is just like an understanding thing where it's like, I hard know that's right or wrong, or that is good or bad, but I don't care about it as much because I know it doesn't matter. Or it's like, I know it doesn't matter. So it's like,
is it that it doesn't matter, or that it's not one of the many things that's currently affecting you?
Both. But like, I mean, we just did the, kids get shot on their way to school. That's sad thing last week. I know what's good and bad. I know it's bad. It doesn't matter. I'm just kind of like with a lot of bigger things. And it doesn't change how I would feel about it or want to like necessarily react to it, but that there's just, we have such a limited sphere of control in life, and that unless it's directly harming me or helping me, I'm just not really engaging it much.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that's because of, or do you think that is altering as a secondary thing your perspective or your value of the experience of life?
Do
you think it's a cause or an effect? I guess.
I think it's the effect. I think it's the effect, and definitely with age and experience, just like diversity of experience, opening my mind to different types of people, different types of experiences, understanding things better. I think for a lot of people that increases what they value life to be, right? I feel the exact opposite. With age and like the more seeing more, I feel like life is inherently less sacred than I did when I was younger. Not that it shouldn't be protected, not that it shouldn't be valued, but everything's just worth a little bit less. People aren't worth that same level of passion I used to be willing to put forward or reflexively felt. I'll say it that way.
Let me ask you one more question. Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that you bury yourself in philosophical debates on a seemingly 24/7?
It might be a factor, but I feel like before, even in high school, I was reading a lot. Not on a high level, not super smart, but I was still reading a lot of like ideas and things, and that was always a way to help cope with things I felt. I feel like before I was able to like find things that were able to find the thoughts I had on paper written by someone else. We've talked about that. Before being able to find other people having similar ideas or thoughts to my own and just being stuck thinking about shit like that all the time as a kid was like really fucking miserable. So I don't feel like the content I throw myself into is affecting my thoughts, but more that it's helping me cope with the thoughts I'm having.
It's fair. Those weren't accusatory. I realize that sounded accusatory, but I was literally curious.
It helps me figure out shit. You could, even if you were accuse away.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not pulling a Steven.
Put on your Mon hat. Let's dig.
Yeah.
No, I just.
Yeah, I don't.
How has the value of life shifted for you?
I mean, I get the direction you're coming from with the, like the mass shootings and stuff. Like, it doesn't matter because I think for me, I think it's more directly that it feels so commonplace at this point. It's just, it's not news to me when it happens. It doesn't feel like I feel like it should. I feel like upon hearing that, my reaction should be like, oh my God, that's such a terrible thing. But it's like,
let's go.
Is this a different one than the other one that just happened? Oh, okay.
Let's go big picture. Picture you at 10 years old, and in front of you is a little dumb baby and an old dumb person. And then picture you, a copy of you, a Control-C, Control-V of you at current age with the same dumb baby and same old person in front of you. Which dumb baby and dumb old person would you value more? Childlike wonder.
Let me understand the question again. So 10-year-old me is in front of a little dumb baby and an old person.
Yeah, when you're a kid, the dumb old person is holding the dumb old baby, and when you're an adult, the dumb old baby is holding the dumb old person.
So wait, so now is the baby is grown up, or they're still a baby?
No, they're just really strong this time.
This is a really strong baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think that when I was younger, I had a stronger. What was the question? Was, do I value them? Is that what the question was, basically?
Well, do you feel like how you value people has changed?
I mean, yeah.
How many dollars would you have traded for when you're 10 years old versus now? What would you sell those two humans for then versus now? On the slave market,
Yeah, exactly. There's those fucking slave babies.
Obviously.
That's probably a thing that is sad. I don't know. I think the value, I think it's more about the perspective. I don't know if it's so much of a value change. I think it's more of just, I mean, I guess it is. You say because I think because of, I mean, I remember even in Cincinnati growing up, watching the news before going to school was like, you know, someone was shot here, someone was shot there, like 2 people were shot here last night. And it was like, that was every day on the news. Like multiple people were shot and dead.
Drive past 3 car accidents and 1 shooting. Like,
yeah, it's like, fuck, dog. Like and I remember like thinking to myself, like someone even, I think one of my, like even my mom or my dad had said something about it. It was just like it makes you numb to it. And I feel like I absolutely was by the time I was in high school.
Easy come, easy go.
But like that being said, I feel like in a general sense, I'm a compassionate person.
Very much.
I feel like if I'm being realistic, obviously, like I can't care about everybody and everybody's problems because I'm only one person. But like, that's the thing is I kind of want to, but I also, you know, in my adult life, I've come to accept my limitations on that where I know it's going to fucking drive me nuts and like I have to pump the brakes. And I don't know if that's so much of a value change on other people. I guess it would be because if I'm saying I value my own mental health and my own self above other people, but I think that's healthy and normal.
Does that inherently mean their value has changed or your value has changed? That's
the other thing is like it's you know, inflation's a real bitch. I think it's more
that Ricky went up this year.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I guess in my mind and my perspective, the way that I would phrase it to other people is I started focusing on myself more. And I think that's less that I valued other people less, more that I valued myself more. I don't know. That's a tough question really to think about, I guess. Like long term, what's my, how that's gone. But I mean, also when I was a 10-year-old, I was hardcore. I was trying to be gothy and listen to Black Sabbath all the time and thought that was metal. Yeah. I don't know, yo. That's a toughie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Questions for the universe.
Maybe we'll never know.
You know, maybe some of our listeners will have answers and they can respond to us and talk to us in a way, you know, give us feedback.
If they were dying on the sidewalk, keep driving. Here's what we'll get out of here. But the thought I was having that I want to circle back to is that I'd like to have as many of like the big important conversations with you and on this podcast as possible. I enjoy having them with you. I enjoy having them recorded and like being like a little memory or like a proof I thought or did something, some part of my life with the person I enjoy. But it's really hard. And we've had a shit ton of conversations. And sometimes it feels like there is an infinite amount of possible ways to run different like versions of ideas. But then at the same time, I feel like when we do like more freestyle ones, there's like always this like wild card spark of like stumbling upon something. And more and more I feel like there is an infinite amount of conversations to be had. And even if most of them are like failed experiments, it's like always worth it for stumbling to try to stumble upon something that just changes a little bit of something in our head. I don't know.
I agree. No, I agree. I think that's really one of the main bases that we even discussed starting a podcast was we would have long, deliberate conversations about real shit and that kind of...
And part of that has turned into long, accidental conversations.
Yeah.
I like that a lot too. But there's there's just certain ones that, like, after we finish, because part of what I like to do is speak about things I feel as if I fully believe them. And there's like a certain amount of, like, I don't know, playfulness or acting to some degree with certain things. But I always feel like it, even like the failed parts are worthwhile when we like finish and I like just feel better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Leave a bunch of dumb shit on a recording and feel a little bit different or better. And I don't know. I just appreciate that so much.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I feel like you definitely are more prone to take harder stances or say things for, I don't want to say the shock value of it, but more for...
I'm a shock jocker.
Yeah, you're a shock jocker.
Dude, I'm ready to give my anti-abortion take. I'm ready. I want to do it.
You're a fucking animal. The thing I always remember whenever I would tell people like about my friend Steven, it was always like, oh yeah, he's got like all these tattoos and piercings and shit. He looks unapproachable, but he's the sweetest dude you'll ever meet. He's the nicest fucking guy. And I think I told you that one time and you were like, that's just to you. And it's like, well, yeah, I wouldn't expect you to treat anyone who wasn't also, you know, chill and nice to you with respect and be kind to them, because that's stupid. But
I think I'm getting softer too. Really, as long as someone shows me respect, it's always giving back.
Yeah, I think that's that don't be a dick thing. Like, you know,
absolutely.
It's really, I mean, it's not that hard. It's really not. You know, sure, there are outlier situations where you can think of a trolley problem where it sucks, but it's like, man, it's, you know, just don't be a dick.
This is like a dumb old person thing, but things are pretty easy when you let them be. Just as a general life rule.
Yeah.
I'm just like good at making things hard for myself.
I was just telling someone earlier about the switch I had in my career where I used to be an absolute prick asshole chef of like, you know, I would yell at people and I would, you know.
Fucking Gordon Ramsay up
Yeah, not to that full extent, but like, you know, I'd fucking yelling at people for fucking shit up and like, and I realized it's just not the fucking, I had to come to Jesus with a couple front of house people that pulled me aside and they were like, hey, look, like, I know, like, some of these servers fuck some shit up and like, that's fair. We're talking to them about it, but you cannot just be belligerently yelling at these girls. We can't have that. And I was fortunate they took me aside and talked to me about it because, you know, they could have just fired me.
Yeah.
But they, you know, we had a good moment and I realized you're right. First of all, I don't get paid enough to get this fucking mad about what's going on in this restaurant. But number two, it's like, it doesn't fucking change anything. No one learns anything from it. Like, that was a turning point of me, was like, be fucking chill and like, just, you know, talk to people and just figure shit out. If someone fucks something up, it's like, you know, let them know they fucked up. And if they know,
rub it in their face and shame them to do better next time.
Yeah. Stick your face in this plate of extra shit that you ordered that you fucked up.
But as long as you do it in a really nice voice, it evens out.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm with you.
It's like fucking, what's it called? Disciplining my cats. You know, you don't hit them, you just pick them up and you force love upon them.
Shake.
Even as they try to scream and get away, and you're like, no, but I love you. You want my attention, you've got it.
Well, we got to figure out next week, so I guess we should do that, huh?
Man, we got to figure that shit out. We'll figure it out. We got time.
Next week, we'll figure us out. How about that?
Yeah, we'll solve the us problem. We'll fix us.
I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's probably good. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John.
Make sure to check out the show page at TrashCats on Instagram for news and arts from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
For the memes, if you're super bored, you can check out my trash yard on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZSEX. Next week, we got a couple topics we're playing around with. We got one pretty funny one, kind of locked and loaded, but we'll see. But definitely fun stuff ahead, and we'll see you guys then.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.
You're going to piss out a rock now.